Okay, good morning, and thank you very much for coming to see this presentation on a Saturday morning. I want to talk to you about trends, not just in serious games, but also immersive technologies, which would include virtual world simulations and social networks. As you can see, the conference has had an effect on some of the delegates here. I wonder if you might recognise me, but I wonder if you recognise the other two people that are there. So my first remark is is to see whether I'm gamifying my presentation to see whether this presentation does affect the health of anybody watching here. So you've got to stay to the end to see whether my presentation does affect them. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about the past and how games and immersive applications have been used in health for a lot longer than we think. I'm going to be talking about the present, some of the games that have been developed in the healthcare sector, types of games, who they're designed for, what they're intended to do, and also to look at where we're going in the future. And you've seen actually some interesting examples today from your presentation, particularly when you were talking about the Kinect at the end and the use of Kinect and some of the technologies that are being developed today. They were developed for the entertainment industry primarily, but they have a lot of potential uses beyond pure entertainment. So I want to begin by making the point, as I always do when I talk about serious games, is to say that serious games are not new at all. We've been using games in education since the dawn of time. That's how we've learned. Even in the animal kingdom, they use games to play fight with each other as a way of developing life skills. So you can go back to the Middle Ages and the time of the plague, and there were games and nursery rhymes which were designed to raise awareness of children and other people about medical issues. People played games to learn about those issues and to share what they know. And of course, children play doctors and nurses. So I was playing doctors and nurses way before the age of computers. So we're not talking about something that is new. And the one thing I want to kind of emphasize about the role of games in education, and I was very interested in the presentations on the first day, and that is that I'm really coming round to the belief that the games themselves are not necessarily the best way to deliver content and knowledge. Games are really good at making people enthusiastic and interested and wanting to learn about different things. So I think this is where the real role of games and immersive technologies come in. So you concentrate on the fun and you concentrate on how you can use that fun to deliver a positive outcome for the people you're targeting. So when we look at the start of serious games in the sense of using computer technology, console technology for delivering serious applications, most of the focus of very early games was really around reducing the cost and risk to staff and patients. This is where the cost justification came in, because you can do things in games environments which are either impossible or very difficult to do in the physical world without putting staff and patients at risk. And this is just an example of one of many games involved in military healthcare, where you create an environment where there are some casualties, and you use the game environment to get the players to deal with those casualties. One of the very early games of this type, and it's one of the few games that has been properly researched to compare the effectiveness of games-based learning against traditional methods was a game developed by a UK company called TrueSim. It was called Triage Trainer, and in this game there was a simulation of an explosion in a city centre with a number of casualties with very realistic injuries. And the idea behind the game is the paramedic has to examine all of the casualties and deal with them in the correct way using the triage protocols. When they did this exercise, it was funded by the UK government. They had 50 paramedics who were trained using the game and 50 who were trained using traditional techniques as control groups. And all of the participants took the same test at the end, and the ones who learnt through playing the game got significantly better results. And the reason that they gave for this was because they were much more engaged and immersed. They really felt committed to doing the job properly in the game environment. What I want to show you now is how some of the skills of the games industry have been applied to medical simulations. And this is a short video called Dying Dave. My name's Dave, it's not me, it's another Dave. This Dave is one of the graphics designers at Blitz Games. And so it goes through the process of how they use the skills of the entertainment industry to create really realistic characters and scenarios to simulate medical conditions which you wouldn't want to inflict on anybody simply to train someone. So it begins with a 3D medical scan of the graphics designer's head. And then they use their own proprietary technology to use mathematical algorithms to manipulate that character to express emotions. So the use of these algorithms and slider bars means that they can reproduce these facial expressions on anyone. So I could scan your face, any one of your faces, and simulate what you look like with those emotions, simply by using these mathematical algorithms and slider bars. So these are techniques which were developed to improve the productivity of their games development, but of course they have medical applications. So here they're now simulating body movements based on different levels of effort. So that was a normal character. This is a character responding with heavy effort. And you can see they bring in the realism that you will get in games. And this is exhaustion. The final part of the demonstration is not for the squeamish, but they link medical data to show a decaying physical state. So on the right-hand side, you have the normal character. On the other side is the person with a head wound and some medical information about the state of their health. And everything that you see there, the way the blood flows down, the pallor of the skin, the pulsing of the veins in the neck as the person is dying, that's all linked to medical data to show the simulation. This video is about 3 years old now, so the techniques have been advanced even further to the point now where they're using the same kind of techniques to be able to randomly generate a patient. So they can make a patient of different sex, ethnicity, age, and they can link the medical data to that character and use it to train doctors in accident and emergency. There you see the person's died, so you see someone die over a space of 60 seconds. So you can show medical conditions which doctors and medical professions may not encounter during their normal working practice. So that comes from the entertainment games industry. But it isn't just about training skills of staff. Games are increasingly being used to change behaviour. again, games have been used to change behaviour, and we've already had a great example of how they can be used in anger management. I will show you one or two other examples of anger management and autism type games as we go through the presentation. But this one is a game designed to increase awareness of HIV and change sexual practices and behaviour. We can also gamify as a way of motivating people to do things which are good for their health. You don't necessarily need a computer or an iPad. With a bit of creativity, you can develop something which will have the desired effect. And this is something that was set up in Sweden as an exercise. They wanted to get people to walk up the stairs instead of using the escalator. So this is the way that they did it. You see, this is before they did the game. The people are all using the escalator instead of using the stairs. So they wanted to get more people to choose the stairs. So at night, they came in and made some modification to the stairs. And what they're doing, essentially, is fitting piano keys to the stairs. So they're making the stairs effectively a musical instrument. So this is what happened. You see it's now a piano. And people are trying it. So they're making it a game. Nobody's using the escalator now. And of course you not only get people using it to walk up, but they start to play and go up and down the stairs to play too. So 66% more people use the escalator. And that was a simple exercise in gamification. Of course, exergames are very popular, so we're not talking about games that are specifically developed for serious purposes, but even casual games like Wii Fit, for example, is something that's going to have a beneficial effect. And I'm going to talk a little bit later about the future and where this whole area of exercise games is going. One of the companies that I'm involved with as a consultant is called Imaginary. They're a serious games developer based in Milan in Italy. And this is a game that was developed as part of a European project to train staff to deal with issues in care homes. And it uses some interesting methodologies. It's called Mirror, and the voiceover and the people supporting the development of this subject matter experts is from somebody who is a care professional in this sector. Can we have more sound?
It asks you to make choices to achieve your goals. The game takes into account the player's mood.
So the game also is used to measure the mood of the care worker when they're playing the game. So they get a mood map based on their feelings about the decisions that they've made. So it's a little bit of a simulation.
In the game, the player goes to work,
they basically go to work in the game, and they log on to a particular shift.
Scenarios, each of which contains
and they're presented with scenarios that are typical in a care home. So they're dealing with behavioural problems.
The game allows
the
players
idea
to
behind the game is to balance the needs of the patient against
risking
the
harm
requirements
to
of
real
the job.
If they make poor choices.
And during the game, they also make notes, as they would do in real life. And these notes can be used to help develop a knowledge base. So this is a game which is not something which is fixed. It's something that will grow and develop and form part of collaborative learning. So there'll be some peer-to-peer learning where different people playing the game can compare their experiences in real life. And that's a reflective learning type application. So there's also self-evaluation involved in this, so it's not just the game evaluating the player evaluates themselves and they compare how they think they've done against
this serious game, carers
the way they've been assessed.
Through reflecting on the needs of the resident, and it can be a good starting point for group reflections in caring organisations. Have a go and tell us what you think.
The other thing that's been implemented in this game is the role of a virtual mentor. So at any time, if they get stuck, they can ask for a virtual mentor to give some advice on the situation, or if they're doing very badly, the virtual mentor will pop up anyway, as they would do in real life, to intervene. You were talking about autism. This is a game also developed by Imaginary, called iSpectrum, a European project which was designed to help particularly young adults with autism to gain employment. So again, it's like a simulation and a role-playing game. I really like the game that you showed. This is much more of a simulation, and although the evaluation is not complete on this, my feeling is that because this is not designed particularly to be fun, it's going to be not as effective as the type of games that you develop, which are designed to be fun, but they build in the game mechanics to achieve the desired outcomes. We talked the other day about how we're going to fund the development of serious games, because game development can be quite an expensive business. And one of the ways that, for example, Dassault Systems got an office here in Singapore, they've developed a game to train people to use defibrillators in an emergency situation, and they formed a partnership with Philips, who make the defibrillators. So it's industrial sponsorship, having their products placed within the game that helps to deliver the results. You showed an example of brainwave technology and the headband and the more traditional device. This is an example of a device called NeuroSky. One of my UK partners is actually working in Singapore, who are specialists in the use of this technology for things like ADHD and helping with meditation. So the idea behind this is I've got a little device which has got a contact on my forehead and a little clip on my ear, and it's measuring my alpha and beta brainwaves, measuring my level of relaxation and concentration, and depending upon the strength of those signals, it controls the game. So the idea in this game is to have the right level of focus to blow up a Red Bull can, just to fetch the top off the Red Bull can. If I don't focus enough, it won't open. If I focus too much, the whole thing explodes and I lose it. So this is a video of me playing the game, developed by a company called Mindplay. And this is used to, it's an advertising brand concept. So what it's saying is focus to open the can, focus too hard and you blow it up. So there's the can, and there's a little meter there showing my level of concentration. I'm trying to keep it in the green area. The can will start to rock, and if I've got it right, the top will come off, and I will succeed. This same company is using this technology to control the outcome of movies. So by concentrating and relaxing in appropriate ways, you can alter the outcome of a movie. One of the other things that's been mentioned, not directly, but you've shown it in your game about the creation, personalisation of the avatars. I think one of the emerging trend in games generally, important emerging trends, is this business of personalising. And the personalisation helps to increase the level of engagement and commitment to playing the games. Now, if you are playing EXA games, then one of the best ways of motivating you is if you can modify the game and shape it to your own need. This is a game which is designed to be used with a treadmill, with a home treadmill or a home bike. So the idea is that you can create your own fitness run using a map in your own area. So you use Google Maps effectively to say, I want to run round these streets and this way. I want to run for 5 miles, and it will work out a route, and it will set you a target for a running speed. So I won't play all of this, but this is me. So it starts off with Google Map of the USA. I type in where I want my run, put in the postcode, and my flat is going to be shown very shortly. So this is the centre of Leicester where I live, and that's where my flat is. So I'm now creating my own route by simply drawing
the starting point
lines along the map.
My flat, and run down Coriander Road, along Western Boulevard.
These are all names of streets.
Road.
So I just click on the points where I want to develop my
over
run.
Along there, and down.
And in quite
Stewart
a short
Street.
time, I can
Running down
create
Stewart
a route
Street,
which will
across
tell
Melbourne
me
Road,
how far it is,
down Braunston Lane,
and how long it should
down
take
Hinkley
me,
Road,
what kind of speed I should run at.
Braunston Gate, under the bowstring, where the bowstring bridge was, and then back down Western Boulevard.
So I've set my route now.
Now's the time to start out
I'm
on
playing
my
the
run,
game. There is
leaving from
the
6E Coriander Road.
satellite view, and it uses Google
is the
Street
view as
View,
I'm
so you
walking
can
down
see
the
where
street.
you're running.
I'm starting
So
to
when
run
I
down now
recorded
towards the
this,
bottom.
I was simulating my running,
down to
so
Western
I'm not
Boulevard.
really out of breath.
Getting a bit of exercise in
I was
now.
just pretending to be
down,
out of breath as I
along
made the
Upperton
video
Road,
and showed just to
Upperton
show
Road,
an example of how
4:55,
it
not
works.
bad.
But
Going up
this
Stewart Street
business
now.
of combining different
Along
technologies
Stewart
to
Street, across Narberth
allow you
Road,
to personalise the
careful at
game
junction,
experience
Narberth
is
Road with the
something
traffic
that's
there.
going to be increasingly
Going up
important
Ashfield
with
Road,
EXA games.
down Ashfield
And
Road,
this
across
combination of natural interfaces, like a running machine, like the Microsoft Kinect, combined with sensor technologies that are measuring your blood pressure, your pulse rate, and so on, are going to be the way in which the general health of the population will be linked to games in the future. Because you will be able to see directly the effect of the exercise on your own personal health. This is my mum, who died of dementia in April. When I went to visit her in hospital, I made a little video of her. I'll only show a little bit because it's upsetting to me, but I think one of the big global issues to do with health with the ageing population is dementia. So when I visited my mum,
so say hello, Len.
I tried to get her to make a little video to say hello
Len.
to her brother, who's in Spain, so that I could email
And
the video
Gail, say
to
hello,
her.
Gail.
Hello, Gail.
So you feeling a lot better?
Yes, I'm
So
a
dementia
lot
is
better.
You are a lot
really,
better, Mum.
really big problem, and a lot of the work that I'm planning to do over the next couple of years, working with my University Health and Life Sciences and the games industry, will be looking at how games can help to identify medical problems like dementia at a stage where interventions can be made to try and address that, as well as using games which help older people to stabilise their condition in different ways. So the conclusion, a few concluding remarks in my presentation. I don't think there are very few areas of healthcare where games and immersive technologies could not be used. But it's important to recognise what kind of games, what kind of technologies are appropriate for particular outcomes. They can be used both for staff and for patients. And there are many different types of casual games like Wii Fit and other games that can be repurposed to deliver genuine health benefits. For the future, the thing that's going to revolutionise the use of games in healthcare are sensor technologies and interface technologies. Those two things together, with tools to improve the productivity of games development, will bring out about an explosion in the use of immersive technologies for healthcare. But at the end of the day, we should always realise that they will never replace personal care. They will enhance and they will augment personal care, but they'll only be part of a blended solution. But on a lighter note, this is another approach to training people how to deal with a heart attack. Some of you may have seen it before. It's not a game. It's more of a video linked to a kind of game.
Slingshot.
It's definitely a romantic comedy.
Wait beneath my wing. No, you're drinking. Shirt man. The heart attack sequel. Going down.
Ever happen to you? Harmless game of charades based on film titles turning into a sudden cardiac event? Bam! Shaklaki! No? What? Think you're better than me? Well, it happens, all right? It's a real-life situation! I got my daughters here. Call 911. Push hard and fast, okay? Focus! And yes, the beat of staying alive really works. Shama!
Disco can save lives. Yes, disco, huh? Check it out. What do you think? What? Dance party!
Well, I would ask, how was it for you? I told you this presentation could damage your health, and look what it's done to these four ladies on the front row. Thank you very much for listening, and be happy to answer any questions if there's time.